Oh, kia ora whānau. Well, I just wanted to say what an amazing session that was. So just want to mihi to Kaharawa. Such a beautiful duo of daughter, I don't want to say kōrero, daughter and papa, and just also just the generosity of sharing of your resource and your mātauranga, and yeah, it was an incredible session. Yeah, and it'd be good to give those who weren't able to attend today just a bit of a brief overview about what we covered off today. Kia ora.
Okay. Maybe I'll go first then.
Yeah.
I'll go first.
Go for it, Te Rehime.
Awesome. So the beginning of the session was around our kaupapa of Te Whare Tapawhā. Well, not our, well, actually, yes, our kaupapa is our holistic kaupapa of Te Whare Tapawhā, and acknowledging Tamis and Jerry with the values that we see in everyday life within a whānau, in Papahali, and I as the example of that relationship and the values that we have in our relationship. So that was the focus of the beginning part. That was really just to draw in a kaupapa Māori for karo, and to also convey the message that kaupapa Māori isn't only for Māori people. It's an inclusive expression of manaakitanga and whanaungatanga, like Papahali mentioned. And so from that kōrero, we went into a breakout room, had a bit of a wānanga and a pātai just to ponder on. That was more about what the types of whanaungatanga, what whanaungatanga means to us. And we had lots of really awesome answers. Two of them were connection and whakapapa, which was quite a beautiful link into our next section, which was about rangi and papa, te wehenga o rangi nui, rāua ko papa tuanaku, our origin story, our whakapapa story, the separation of mum and dad, that personification, you could say, and the korowai aroha, the cloak of protection that mum and dad have for a whānau. And so we interpreted the children of rangi nui and papa tuanaku as an example of actually siblings and children within their own kin or in their own whānau relationship. And yes, that was awesome. Oh, look, Papa Harley's back too.
Well, I don't need to start from the beginning.
Awesome. And then after that kōrero, we went into two atua in particular. So we spoke about Tāne Mahuta. We had a very interesting relaxation technique with that one, that included a tension of the buttocks and a bit of a funny way to relax yourself. But yes, we definitely did have a sense of lightness. And afterwards, we covered Haumia Tiki Tiki, who was the atua of A Mai Mai, Te atua o Te A Mai Mai, the god of anxiety. And every kind of karearoto or emotion that comes from Haumia, understanding that anxiety is normal, stress is normal, and actually it's within our whakapapa and our genealogy. We have those characteristics that we have inherited from the atua, to acknowledge them, to understand them, and the taonga that we're working with, all of those different connections, and bringing it back to whānau, te taha whānau. It also, Papahali touched base on one side, or four sides of a whare, five including whenua, and the connection to last week's session. Can't actually balance without having a bit of what's the kupu? You need all sides of a whare to be balanced in order to kind of to be stable. Thank you, Papa. To be stable. And so that was kind of what we covered in that part. And then we went into another breakout room, which I'm hoping our taonga and our participants enjoyed. And that was more around characteristics of atua, and how we see them in our taonga, how we acknowledge them. And we moved on to the kaha model. Hey, Papa. And Papa can talk about the kaha model.
Yeah, so so the kaha
Just
model.
an overview of what we did.
Oh, kia ora.
Yeah.
So the kaha model is really looking at reflective practice of 32, 33 years, and what went really badly or poorly, and what went well, but more so the poorly stuff, and what was missed in there, and what could have been done better. And then what we did is that a couple of years ago is that we deliberately, purposely started putting down data, getting data from different places, from kura kaupapa, from mainstream schools, as well as some government departments, and to see what really, what was better, what worked, and implementing the kaha model of koha, aha, hoha, aroha. And so koha is to give without receipt. Aha is what needs to be discussed. And a lot of times that what needs to be discussed is because it's from them, it's from our taonga that we're working from. And then hoha, appreciating that frustrations are normal, and in aroha, that we need to go back to that space of aroha. All 4 words end with ha, which is te reo Māori, te ao Māori in the Māori world is the breath of life. The acronym is kaha, and for us, kaha means to be courageous, and to work in social services. We know we need to be courageous
And resilient.
and resilient. And so the purpose of using that type of format is so it's mana enhancing to whānau. And overlaid with that is pre-engagement, engagement, and post-engagement. And so in pre-engagement for us is pre-engagement of yourself. How are you at this time? Are you in a good place to engage with whānau? And if you're not, get yourself in the better place. So deliberately doing that before engagement. And then professionally, the pre-engagement is making sure you've got all your paperwork done, or that needs to be sorted. And then what we've found is that those who have done the pre-engagement really well, the engagements got better. When it's got to the hoha stage of engagement, that has been minimized because the pre-engagement's been done well. And then and the post-engagement is a check-up Charlie. It's really to see whether you've done what you thought you'd done. That the taonga, the whānau feel respected, and we've covered what they want to cover. And so it's really about feeling how they feel. And so the questions are articulated that way. How do they feel? Because a lot of times with our whānau, when we go, what do you think? They go, and then start thinking about it. And so when you say, how do you feel? It's just a natural process. And with the survey using whiti mai te rā, the shining sun, rather than numbers or excellence, or poor, it will use kapua, pauri, a dark cloud, and instantly when you look at it, you go, oh yeah. And the question is to mark along that continuum or across that line where you are. It's purposely 10 centimeters long. And so you can overlay that later yourself and go, actually, there are 5 here, there are 6 there, there are 3 there, or good, or poor, good, very good, excellent, whatever needs to be used for different outfits, whether it be social services or whether it be a government department, how they want to collect the data. And so it's that's the post engagement's really clear, really easy. It takes 5 seconds for yourself to go down the line, and then for
and maybe 10 seconds before to actually convince yourself, okay, I need to be honest. I need to be honest with myself. I can't just mark this because I feel that's how I did. I actually need to, because that can be hard as well, Papa?
Yeah, but you're thinking again.
So I'm thinking, not feeling.
And so what happens is that it's really important that it's not utilised as a KPI. Because if it's used as a KPI, well then, you know, it's all, I'm getting judged on this. It's not it at all. It's for self again. So at the beginning of the model, we start with self preparation and the truth, and where you are, and at the end, same thing. Pono to the kaupapa, the truth, and then our taonga, the whānau truth, whatever that is along the continuum. If we're not the same, well then they're right. That's just how it is, and that's how we guarantee that we're going to be whānau and practitioner centric.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just means that kupu can just stay on the paper and not yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah,
we're pretty excited what's happening in different spaces, particularly in the midwifery space at the moment.
Yeah.
And how that kaha has been utilised to indigenize that space from one of the trainers. And so they use the kaha model as they use the ahuru mōwai, and they use kaha, the pre-engagement from placenta, the safe, the whenua, all the way through. So it's and yeah, it's interesting because each space, whether that be in teaching, education, whether that be in social services, and now with that being in midwifery, is that the whānau that are utilising it have put their own spin on it. But the key, when we're getting the results from them now, the key is because I'm using it as part of my PhD research. And so the key is that those that haven't done the pre-engagement, their results have been poorer.
I didn't get.
Sorry.
Yeah. And so, yeah, everybody wants good outcomes. And once I complete my PhD, well, then it'll have some academic credit, I suppose. But at the moment, what it is, it's what's becoming more acceptable these days, is lived experience.
Aye.
So
that's, so we were, after the kaha model, we're just going through what we covered. Yeah. And then we went into whakaaroaro or here Kōrero here. I didn't get to touch base on this as much as I wanted to, so I'll do that now. But here Kōrero here is the atua that assisted Tāne Mahuta in his journey to through the heavens to discover Ngāki Te o Te Wānanga, all the baskets of knowledge. So Hine Kōrero here is the atua of reflection. She's the atua of like feedback. And so she had, ngā wai whakaatata o Hine Kōrero here is talking about like a basket that she had, of water that she gave to Tāne to assist him through the many heavens that he went through.
And that water was from her tears.
Yeah. And so we use Hine Kōrero here in a space of reflection. So when we do get to the end of like a wānanga of any type, we like to acknowledge her in the sense that she kind of puts us in like a positive space of reflection. Well, I didn't get to touch base on that, but yes, that's what we wanted to do anyway. And the mentee little, feedback things were cool. I've never experienced it before, but I really enjoyed them. So just wanted to say that they were really, really quite neat. But
it's nice to see people's feedback live, isn't it? And hear how they're feeling, I guess, after they've heard what you shared.
Yeah, and to see the shifts that happen too. Because the shifts that happened, like within, from when we asked them how they came into the session, and then how they're leaving the session, and to see those shifts is really beautiful. And we'll taku here for not handing over to you to talk about whaka so I apologize for that. But I just wanted to touch on one thing. I really love the kaha model. I could see that working in so many spaces beyond social services, beyond midwifery. And I really loved, you talk about aroha, I can't remember all of them right now, oha, but the use of the word ha, and how when you say aroha, it's like, love, hoha, bothersome. So the use of the breath in different ways of which you are feeling. And often I'll talk about how ha is so undervalued, you know, from a Western context. So I think the kaha model is so beautiful because it's a reminder of the essence of ha, you know, and why ha is, well, because I always say, you know, if you haven't got ha, you're 6 feet under or you're wherever you are, but, you know, you're not necessarily present. Yeah, I really love that.
Yeah.
So
Thank
just
you.
want to, yeah.
The marae table paper. Over about 6 months, I was just writing things down, and then it just every time I looked at it and added, or we looked at it and added, and then it sort of become really clear. And once we started grouping them into themes, and that's hoha.
Yeah.
And so it happened by accident, but probably on purpose, because from Kōrero, I suppose. And so when it just fell that way, and then we went, far out, that's freaky, we better do something about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
tūpuna given sometimes, in those spaces. So, well, thank you for today's session. It really was. I was like, whoa, there's so much of this that we could thread through our various spaces of mahi that we do. So thank you again for your incredible generosity and sharing. And it's been delightful to meet you both. I look forward to the moment when we meet a kanohi. Claire, is there anything you want to say before we close off?
Just reflecting on, you know, our theme for this week's session was all around whānau and give tukua, and I think, you know, our whānau give us so much, and we can give so much back. But also for social services Kaimahi, we are in that space of working with whānau every day, and I think what you Matua Hali and Te Rehine, what you shared today, you know, even just talking about how referring to people as taonga and reminding our social services Kaimahi that they themselves are taonga, to be valued, but also that the whānau who they work with are taonga. It really does, I guess, just open up a new conversation, I think, about how we interact with one another, how we treat one another, also how we respect ourselves as well, you know, and you spoke so powerfully about taking care of ourselves before we go in and engage with whānau, and I think that's so important. And I love that one of our taonga in the session today, she shared about, you know, it's about being intentional. You know, the mahi that we do in social services is often really heavy, and, you know, go from one hui to another with whānau, and it can be hard sometimes to not take that energy in with you, but that taonga, she talked about, you know, being intentional when we go into that next hui to go in peace, bring rangi Māori with us, you know. And I think some of the atua pūrākau stories that you shared today, there's a lot of wisdom that we can draw from the different atua who you spoke about, and even just how you normalised, you know, through that pūrākau of haumia tiki around anxiety. You know, it's normal for us working in social services to feel anxious from time to time because the mahi is hard and we're dealing with challenging things, and we're doing that in a way that is pono with our whānau, and we want to be the best that we can with them. So of course we feel that anxiety sometimes. So just really wanted to mihi to you to kind of opening up that kōrero because I thought it was very powerful and timely.
I think that I don't know if you've already mentioned this today, Hine, but we were absolutely delighted at the Zoom setup. And to be able to, and not a webinar format. Yeah,
it's great to see everyone, you know.
People's reaction was funny.
I didn't mention it.
You did, okay.
But seeing people, giving it a go.
But even generally, you know, it was good. And thank you, Helen. You know, we've
God said. We would not. It would have been. No. Would not have been very well. We would have got there if we had to do it on our own, but just
teamwork.
Absolutely. That whanaungatanga. I'm very, very grateful for this opportunity. Papa Harley. Big everyone. really.
I think it was a really nice reminder about the state of Māori ora, and also kia tau te rangamari, things that really came through and resonated as you were both speaking. So, kia ora, I think that's us for today. Any passing words of wisdom, Matua, that you'd like to see out this little video and pass on to whānau as we leave today?
Do you hear any words?
I'm wisdomed out, wisdom tooth. At least we didn't feel like we were pulling a tooth today, but yeah, no, not really. Just we just want to well, we've said it before. Tukua ki te ao.
Yeah.
Our intention is to spread it.
Share the knowledge.
Yeah.
We're not. I think that's why you could say that we are generous, like in that sense. It's just really about sharing that mātauranga, so that everyone can has access to it. Everyone can embody that whakaaro. It's
It's certainly coming part of the SPA whānau has enabled this to move quicker than it would all.
Yeah.
And yeah. No, actually, we see if you said one word, give one word, then we would have been fine. But anyway,
Grateful.
one word.
Grateful.
Okay.
We're grateful to you too, and we're looking forward to continuing to work together and help to share that mātauranga. So kia ora kōrero.
Kia ora.